Welcome back to Duda Dojo, your source for the latest Duda news, platform how-tos, and web design updates. I'm Matt Scroggs, your executive producer, and today we're going to cuss and discuss a hot topic in CMS world, Duda versus WordPress. We'll explore the differences from two key angles. Our COO will share insights on the web development process, and our director of search marketing will break down how SEO tasks stack up in each platform. So let's jump right in.
Josiah and Matt, let's discuss two of our favorite CMSs to work in at RivalMind. Can you guess which two CMSs I'm talking about are?
I got mine.
Okay, what's yours?
Duda.
Okay.
WordPress.
Okay.
I got it
Yes.
first.
Yeah, so this is our Duda versus WordPress talk today. I am excited to dig into each of your expertise. So Josiah from the SEO realm and Matt from the development realm, and how these two compare, how they both provide benefits for our team, and then maybe where the disadvantages are as well. So Josiah, can you just start us high level with your team in comparison WordPress to Duda? How easy is it to work in Duda versus WordPress? Or are there some advantages to one over the other when it comes down to you guys actually trying to implement your strategy?
Yeah. I mean, the easy answer is it depends. Because there are so many different builders,
That's
so
a
many different
classic
ways.
SEO answer.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
right. So many different ways that a WordPress site can be built. But by and large, our preference is Duda because you can make changes to everything that you see, both from a visual perspective, but also all the things that we know Google and other search engines pay attention to. Our team can go in and make the changes we want really, really easily. So I can get into the details, but those are some of the main things that stick out.
So content modifications,
100%.
page title changes, schema, all that stuff. I'm not going to try and get fancy with my
Yeah,
vocabulary.
you got it.
But you find in Duda it offers something that could have an advantage over WordPress.
100%.
Yeah, awesome. Let's talk functionality. Let's get right into the meat of this. How would you say you view WordPress's functionality when it comes to developing these websites, building these pages versus Duda? So I'm talking ease of use, design capabilities. If you want to dip into coding, you're welcome to. What's your take on that?
I mean,
Just wind them up and let them go.
Yeah. I mean, I could give you 8 more questions.
Yeah, right. So at the highest level, really the ease of use piece is it is the centerpiece when you're talking, in my opinion, between Duda and WordPress. WordPress is so flexible that you can start with a blank canvas and create anything that you want, which is great. The problem with starting with a blank canvas is you have to create everything. And so if you don't have the skills to leverage to be able to do that, sometimes in code or things like that, Duda offers you such flexibility right out of the box that a lay person can do it. I'll raise my hand and say I'm just a hack when it comes to being able to tweak HTML and CSS.
Yeah.
But going back to RivalMind was a WordPress shop for a decade. And when I first started, I was a senior project manager, and I was the one that was bringing our clients through the steps of static design and then turning it into a WordPress website.
How was that process, that experience for you?
I'll have to get my PTSD under control. But there's just what we started to discover was even at the end of the process, giving somebody a WordPress website, they don't really know how to utilize it to its maximum capacity, because even some of the changes that we would want to make, I wouldn't be able to make. So enter Duda. The what you see is what you get model really gives us the opportunity to design in the website and cut out an entire process of static design and then build into code. Before I go too much farther, that's the head to head is the ease of use piece that sticks out.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, it's ease of use for a lot of different types of people, like the marketer of the business itself. You have the, marketing team, the SEO strategist, there's
the content team.
Content team, all of that. There's just a lot of ease of use. You have a lot of different ways that you can utilize the Duda platform to do exactly what you want, even if you're in different roles, which
Yeah.
I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it sounds like even though this isn't a competition, there's a clear winner when it comes to the area of ease of use and functionality and how to put these pages together. And I think that would be, in this case, Duda, the Duda system.
And I think it fits really well. The reason why, we're such advocates for Duda is because it fits in our service model really
yes,
well.
that's a great point. We
Being
should
able
talk
to
about that.
think about, RivalMind's stated purpose is to help companies thrive.
Yep.
And so we're thinking about how do we help people build their businesses, grow their businesses. And in the digital marketing realm, that's, building pages, new, fresh content, of course, being able to do SEO 101, which is title tags, meta description, alt text, schema markup, all of those things for sure from a functionality standpoint.
Yeah.
But the name of the game is helpful content. And in a WordPress website, as a lay person and not a programmer,
Sure.
I personally have struggled in a couple of different, arenas of, I'm thinking building contact forms or just doing things that you would think would be normal. People from the outside would be like, how hard is it?
Yeah. Is that your experience as well? Is developing some of those new pieces if you're working with a WordPress client?
100%. Like they feel like, man, it should just be easy to all I want to do is make another page, or I want to make this change. And they're like, I can't, I don't even know where to find it. Those types of things.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about security.
Okay.
So security between these two, I mean, we could touch on security, and I think we should also touch on the speed between the two.
Yeah.
We might be a little bit in the it depends realm. So talk to me about the security of a Duda website versus a WordPress website, and what are the differences there?
Yeah, WordPress is open source, which again is a double-edged sword. It's awesome. There's a community that's building WordPress, but it is increasingly and notoriously able to be hacked or updates. Those are kind of the two main players in my mind of, what do you have to watch out for?
Yeah, and when you say updates for WordPress, you're talking plugin updates and database
Core,
updates. Yeah, okay.
Core,
Yeah.
WordPress core. And sometimes, those are natural things. WordPress has built that into their platform, and that's acceptable. But historically, experientially, sometimes you have to stay on top of those updates, and sometimes those updates don't play nice together.
Yeah.
So now you're struggling with okay, I went in here to do what I'm supposed to do, make it so that everything is up to date, but now my website's broken because the plugin that I'm using for fill in the blank isn't updated as well. And so now it's breaking whatever's going on the homepage. That's difficult for, again, somebody who isn't a full-time programmer.
Sure. Or doesn't have one available to them.
Right.
So what would you say about the security of Duda? Obviously, there's different environments within which these web pages exist. So how would you say Duda does when it comes to security?
Excellent, because it's all of their platform. The updates that we're talking about, Duda is doing on the back end and making everything synonymous within their own system. I'll throw this caveat in here. I'm still looking, Duda says 99.99% uptime.
Sure.
I've still never seen a Duda website be down. I'll get an email that's like, hey, my website's down. And it's always they forgot to, renew their domain or something. I still, to date, I've never personally seen a Duda website be down.
Right. Yeah.
So as far as security is that's another concern, uptime. But as far as it's a closed system.
Yeah.
And depending on, again, nodding back to functionality and the available functionality in a WordPress ecosphere is great because it's self-hosted.
Sure.
But even
you can put it wherever you want. You can have your own
you
server
want.
versus Duda it lives
But
on.
even that is a liability. We've been struggling with a couple of WordPress websites that are on our docket where the servers where they live, in Michigan, they went down. And now I have a client that's calling me that's like, hey, what's going on with this? And I can't even get into, the cPanel to see what's going on because that service has gone down. So it's from a security standpoint, I feel warm and cozy with the Duda blanket around me.
Yeah. Another big factor is speed. And so in the SEO world, I think that a lot of people don't think about website speed. So in the SEO world, you see a ton of value in that. So can you talk to me about why site speed's important with those core web vitals? And then what's your experience between WordPress versus Duda?
Yeah,
And be transparent.
Yeah. No one thinks about no one thinks about site speed until you try to access a website that's super slow.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, I can't. I've tapped on this 3 times. I'm out. Right. And so something Duda does so well is it's really, really fast. Right. Most of us are on our mobile phones. Right.
Yeah.
And so those, I sound so old saying mobile phones, your cell phone. Okay. Like there's just so many advantages on the Duda platform itself because it's really, really light as far as the code goes. But we can get into some of the differences of if you're using certain builders on a WordPress site, that can slow things down even for elements that you don't need on your site. It's just slowing it down. And so there's just a lot of benefits there. But site speed is super important because user expectation is that when I tap on this thing or click on this thing, it does what I want really quick.
Yeah. Does it matter to search engines? I mean, let's be real. We're talking about Google here. Like, does it matter the site speed in as far as relevance to, is it going to rank better, or is there any factor there that would have impact the user's site ranking or the page ranking?
Yeah. 100%. Like Google and other search engines know that a bad user experience leads to a bad user experience. Like the user expectation is, anytime I want to go to a site, it should be easily accessible. So if Google or other search engines are showing your website, but when somebody clicks or taps on it, it's not loading well, we're going to deprioritize that because it's a poor user experience.
Yeah.
And even just, the internet at large, site speeds and internet speeds across the board are always rising. Like, even a few years ago, 5+ years ago, people still had 3G phones, and like you were kind of fighting not only what is the capability of the device that I'm on, but also how am I serving what's going, what's traveling through the internet. So speeds all across the board are moving up, and that, being more and more granular. The core web vitals is, we say page speed or site speed, kind of as a broad brushstroke, but what core web vitals is, it's calculating in milliseconds, what is first contentful paint. Like all of these things, when you look at source code, it's just loading it from top to bottom. And sometimes even just in the way that you have it organized, the code organized is what's going to make it load faster. And so things like, Duda does a really good job of lazy loading and compressing images and all of that stuff naturally. Yeah. Where there's a lot of dials and settings that you can set in WordPress, but if you're not aware of how to do that, then it's not being done for you. Yeah. So you're trying to load like a 5,000 by 5,000 image, on your
It's going to take a lot of time
site.
to bring that up. Yeah. So again, no competition, but if the CEO came to each one of us today and said, we have an option, we're going to either move forward with only WordPress websites or only Duda websites, you have to pick which one you're going to work on the rest of your time at RivalMind. Which would you choose?
That's a tough question. Because my position.
How is that a tough question?
because it does depend. It depends on what the aim of our client is, right?
Sure.
Like if they're trying to
how are we serving them, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, because I know how RivalMind is positioned to serve our clients, Duda is the easy answer for that.
Yeah.
Because it's, because it makes it so easy for tons and tons of businesses to not only own their website, but it allows their marketing team, sometimes that's us, and sometimes that's in accordance with their team, to do everything that we want to make their business grow.
Yeah, true. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer is for Duda for me, but I think you're making a great point. And sometimes enterprise, functionality based, things like that's not RivalMind's sweet spot. And we do work on enterprise level projects
for sure
with developers that are like, man, they're amazing and they can do amazing things, but the
way we work,
the majority of our clients are really looking for, small to medium businesses are looking for that autonomy, being able to do things, that they would expect to be able to do, build pages, put landing pages up, do all of these things that aren't that enterprise functionality minded people. Like that's the biggest group of the people that we're trying to serve. So for what RivalMind does day in and day out, Duda is far out the winner because of what we can do in it, what our strategists can do for just deploying strategy. And Duda is doing so many things that are building and excellent. Like we're learning how to leverage collections and all of the things. I love signing into Duda and that pop-up
the
comes
notification
up and they're like, hey, this is new.
A new feature.
And like every time I open it up and then for sure go read it later. But like they're always building things that are giving them the next foothold. I'm super excited for where they're going with e-commerce and all of the things that they're building into their platform that isn't quite like that enterprise level, but like that's not totally where our market is all the time. We're serving a lot of clients that want us to be able to deploy SEO strategy and be agile and be nimble.
Yeah. And that really is a sweet spot of the Duda platform is it really is scalable for a lot of different types of business models and the rate at which they need new pages created. Like there's just so many things from, a smaller business that only needs the, a smaller
12,
site or a
15
few
pages.
Functionality all the way to really, really large businesses that are nationwide or global that need these things. There's just a lot of scalability there.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that Duda can handle large websites, but it is a matter of your approach to that. And then obviously there could be some functionality pieces that you can custom build for potentially more easily for the WordPress system versus Duda, even though there are a lot of great Duda widget developers out there. So I think the consensus is each has their value.
Absolutely.
I know that I'm going to vote for Duda, but I also love getting in, making the changes and getting out. So definitely as a project manager's perspective or even a marketer's perspective, I like to make those changes quick and I like to have the authority and power to do that without having to tap into additional team members to make those changes. So we love them both.
Yep.
They both have their value. You just got to know when to use them.
Yeah. How do you want your website to serve you?
Yep.
How do you want your website to serve your business?
Yep.
That is one of the biggest factors that decides, awesome, what platform is going to be best to serve what your goals are.
100%.
That's where it's got to go.
Yeah. This was a fantastic conversation. I'm really glad the two of you joined me today about this to compare Duda versus WordPress. And so while we might not have a clear winner across the board, each one of them has their value. So thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy to be on.
Didn't see you there. If you like this video, be sure to try out this one or subscribe to our channel.